Good morning, Jonathan with Wolf 360 here at our new commercial project, Bumble Brews of Raleigh. We're at Oberlin Court. This is the new space that we're fitting up. Second generation is what we call it in the business. It was previously a kids play area, which I'll get into later, which was also a good thing. So Bumble Brews is a concept that they've got over in Cary, and now they're bringing it here to the Village District area in Raleigh. And it is where you can bring your kids for an hour to play. They're gonna have a bunch of play space. You'll see we got a big open space for the kids to play around, but then you can also get a coffee or a beer while the kids are playing with grandma or grandpa, or the dad's getting together or the mom's getting together and wanting to just have their kids kind of free range in a nice, safe spot. It's really a cool concept, and look forward to showing where we're at in the progress. So when we came into this space, as I said, this is a second generation space. And so it was previously all dark walls, dark carpet. It was a different kind of kids play adventure area. And what we wanted to do is really open it up. There was a wall right here, and it was really congested when you walked in, and we wanted to get this open area. So this will be to over here with this low wall will be a seating area. And then this that we're starting to put in will be where you'll get your beer or some snacks, glass of wine, coffee, and then you can oversee the play area. And so this will be all used for play area. We got a party room and a couple of restrooms. The beauty of this is we came in here, we put in all new ceiling. You can see where this bulkhead is. We took this wall out so it really opens up the space. And then we went with nice light colors, all new nice light flooring that really just makes the space so much brighter. As you can see, this is our only window opening. This is typical in commercial retail spaces where you'll have 2,000-3,000 square feet and you're basically an inline. We're in the corner, which is nice, so it opens it up. Our back door over here, and then we've got a party room back here. So we've got a party room here for birthday parties or other events, so that you can have a private thing while the kids are also out here playing. Right now we're using that as our home base and finishing up some of the work on the HVAC units. As I mentioned, we've been in all new flooring, all new paint, opened up the wall, brand new ceiling grid, painted the grid so it gets it all nice and light. New lighting throughout, LED, energy efficient lighting. And then we also had to upgrade the emergency systems with the sprinklers and the emergency lighting. One of the critical things that you get into in a fit up or second generation space especially is typically in an inline store, you've got to worry about the rating of your sidewalls, right? So you've got this wall out here, that wall there, and depending on what your adjacent uses are, is 1 hour, 2 hour wall. We're also in a sprinklered building, so that's something that also needs consideration. What's different in this space is we are in a mixed use building. So not your typical inline store that you'd see in a strip retail center. We've actually got apartments above. And part of what we're working on right now is through the process, we found some plumbing leaks and some HVAC leaks. So we're fixing that. Typically you wouldn't have that in an inline store because you don't have anything above you. Also, here we've got restaurant use to the left, a yoga studio, restaurant to the right. So we also have to take that into consideration. The added difficulty on top of this being mixed use is we're also above a parking deck. We had to take all of that into consideration, which is beyond your typical strip retail center. The other things that people don't realize when you're coming into a retail use, even a typical strip retail center, is a big part of the first step is going through what you call the code summary. And that's really what the city inspectors want to look at, because that's what defines your use. And in this case, we were very lucky that the use that was here before was also an assembly use for children's play. And so we had no change of use in the space, which is incredibly unique for a very unique use like this. So we're very lucky, and that's part of what made this deal work when we were out looking at space with the clients. But typically what you'd have is you're coming in and previously it was a restaurant, or you're coming into a business space with a restaurant. You have to go through a change of use, which is recalculating the number of occupants and firewall ratings adjacent to your space. And if you have a change of use, you might have to upgrade the firewalls. In this case, we might have had to do something with the ceiling or the floor. And also you're exiting. So we've got a back exit here and a front exit here. And if the occupant load was such that you might need to add a door or widen a doorway. Those are all the things that you have to consider prior to even starting to do your design or looking at to make sure the space will work for you in the conversion process, from changing the use from typically you're going from business to assembly or assembly to business, potentially sometimes retail use. That also then has impacts on your HVAC loads, your exiting, as we mentioned, all different kinds of things come into play. And so when it's just a lot of people think, oh, I'm just coming in to take over a retail space. There's a lot of work that goes into it to make sure that it works code-wise before you even get into the design and the layout. Then, once you get into the design and the layout, you got to make sure that you've got the right bathroom calculations. So if you're going up to like a restaurant, you might have to add a restroom depending on the square footage of your space. Another complication, if you're going into, say, a strip center and you're wanting to go and be a restaurant, and if the building's unsprinklered, that becomes very problematic. So those are a lot of the considerations that go into the selection of a space, especially a second generation space, many times even when you're looking at a new space, because you've got to make sure you've got the right occupant load, the right exiting. So it's not just laying it out and saying, hey, this is where I want this to go, or this is where I want this to go. There's a lot of life safety issues that are taken into consideration in the layout. This is a beautiful space. It worked out really well. We're gonna be wrapping this project up here in the next couple of weeks. We've just got some base to put on, a little bit of painting touch up, finish up this mechanical work, put in the rest of the ceiling tiles, and we'll start filling this space up with toys and kids. Look forward to showing to you what it looks like when we're finished.